Let us get started here on this Magic City Monday. And I know the Lakers won the championship on Saturday night. They beat the Nuggets, so now they're the leading candidate to win the NBA Finals. Is that what it is?
No. Have you seen
this
Thunder?
Because this ridiculous topic about JJ Redick is owed an apology is absolutely ridiculous. Nobody owes him jack, and I'm going to tell you why, and then you can tell me why you think so. It is not wrong for people to question the hiring of someone who has no experience, not even at the high school level, who has never been a coach in any circumstance. So that whole idea of people questioning it and doubting whether or not he could do it is totally legit. It's not like he was a coach before and people are like, oh, I don't know if he could coach or not. Well, okay. And that's not the normal route for most people to become a coach. Mm-hmm. They become assistants first. They put in their time. We've seen a lot of guys do that. And then, of course, they get run out right away. But the bottom line is that's where we are. And here's the other part, which is just totally ridiculous. So if you want that, you want to give them an apology because they beat the Nuggets, who finally lost after 9 straight wins, finally. And the Lakers played great, finally. But nobody said, I want JJ Redick fired or he should be.
You did.
No. Hear me out. When they lost to Portland by 20, and what was the other game? At home.
Charlotte.
With the Charlotte. And those games, you weren't saying then people owe him an apology when he lost those games. So when they win one big game, nobody owes him an apology. It's a full order. Let's see what happens. If they get knocked out in the first round, then he'll be no better than what Darvin Ham did. If he somehow does something more, then we'll talk about that. That's it.
Yeah, Rob G coming in here, putting a little Hawaiian spice up on things. I see what you're doing, Rob G. Welcome back, Rob G. No, JJ Redick has one thing I'm looking at with the Lakers is sometimes in the season, name the sport, name the league, there's a moment when you kind of go, huh, and you look up. It could be a stat. It could be some new bit of information that you're like, huh. And one of the things for the Lakers that they've been doing very well, and I give credit to JJ Redick, is that they're 14-4 in their last 18, which is almost 20 games, which is almost a quarter of the season. So I got to give them some credit where it's due. Obviously, I'm similar to you. We both talked about it. Let's not crown the man JJ. Remember, I'm teasing him, call him JJ Riley, as in Pat Riley. People want to call him that. And yes, they both have cool hairdos, but let's not crown him that already. Let's see what he can do. But right now, I like to give credit where it's due. The Lakers are 14-4, and again, in the last 18, best record in the NBA. First, this is the key part, that if they want to have a chance of doing anything, they better keep going. First in defensive rating, which is huge because
you think they're a good defensive team? I'm gonna ask you that. Just forget the numbers. Do you think they're a good defensive team?
They looked really good a few times. They got to get it. They got to get it together. They got to find a whole new scheme.
Did they look good against the Hornets at home?
No, they looked lazy.
Okay.
No, they looked lazy.
I'm just curious. That's all.
No, they have to find, now that they have Luka too, they're gonna have to find out a way to play defense with Luka, whether it's finding ways to keep him hidden or getting the maximum defense out of him. But almost 20 games, I can't knock you if you're first in defensive effort and you're 8th in offensive rating and 3rd in net rating. And only teams they're behind, and they got great wins over the Nuggets. They got great wins over the Celtics. They got wins over the Knicks, the Clippers, and the Warriors. They beat them twice. So I have to give him some credit for starting to find a nice rhythm overall in the past almost 20 games. Now everything changes because they got Luka, right? And hopefully for them in a positive way. Hopefully LeBron, I think, has seen something where he goes, oh, you mean when I go to the bench, we're up 8? We don't have to be down 1 when I get back in or fighting for our life to stay alive because we got a guy who can control the offense, who can control the flow of things, and all of a sudden we can still be able to be dominant even if I'm on the bench? Oh, you mean I don't have to be the best player on the floor for both teams every night of my life? And
How is he the best player on the court when he doesn't even play any defense?
You know
he might be the best offensive player.
You know what I'm saying, Rob. I'm not saying he is Dennis Rodman reincarnated. Okay. You know exactly what I'm saying. And so for him, this has to be the most welcome sight in a very long time for him, that he can look at a team and say, I'm off tonight, or I can play second fiddle.
So he never felt that way when Anthony Davis was on the team?
Of course he felt like that. But I'm saying specifically from a shot creator, Anthony Davis is not that. And you know that. Anthony Davis is not getting people shots.
I'm just asking about feeling that way about
what
having
I'm
your
saying.
number
No,
two
I'm
guy.
saying specifically
the guy who
having
helped
a guy.
you win a championship.
Right, AD is amazing. Nobody is taking that away.
Right, okay.
I'm talking about, Rob, if you've watched basketball enough to know, we're specifically saying if LeBron ain't creating, if he's not the one getting the flow, that's been the struggle. It's not that AD can't give you 28 and 10 on a lot of nights. It's that who can get the flow going, who can get guys active shots, who's going to get that guy in that corner, that three. And Luka finally, for him, in that sense, presents that since Kyrie Irving, another guy who can create for himself and others. And so that has to be a welcome sight. But if they can continue, Vanderbilt has been great. If he stays healthy, because that's really been the only issue, he's the perfect guy to just go in, muck the game up. You saw what he was doing, getting in Jokic and getting them all uglying up the game a little bit. You need that with a guy like Jokic because he's so dominant. So that was a great game to see. Everyone was active. Everyone was playing defense. Everyone bought in. They're absolutely going to have some stinkers here or there. That's just part of the nature as they continue to try to find a way to implement Luka. But I got to give him credit again. 14-4 the last 18. That ain't nothing to sleep on. Almost 20 games, almost a quarter of the season to have the best defense and the best offense, the 8th best offensive rating. That's real data. So I got to give him credit. I was hard on JJ. As you mentioned, we shouldn't just be welcomed with open arms. Let's see what he can do. Let's see if he can prove himself. And the team has been playing well. So I got to give him credit where it's due.
Yeah, I'll hold my credit. I'm going to have it as a
layaway or something?
Yeah, he's got to go on layaway because
That's fair.
This team with those players, if they don't get out of the first round and they lose like they did a year ago, then much hasn't changed. And that's the issue that I have. I'm not going to be premature and celebrate a stretch in the season. Because if we didn't celebrate it when they just had the 2 stinkers out of 4 games when they lost to Portland and they lost to Charlotte. That wasn't 2 weeks ago. That was last week.
Right. And that's in the collective of the 18.
Right. But still, last week you wouldn't be saying you want to give them credit because they still would have won 12 out of whatever. You got 13 out of 14, 13 out of 17. What's the difference? You got 1 win because it's just that they beat a good team that's streaking. Is what I'm trying to say. You wouldn't bring that up.
But I have though. We've had a lot of conversations
after the Charlotte
here.
Game, that wasn't a conversation you would have had.
That was a horrible game. They settled. Charlotte played a great defensive
and they went right at Luka.
Zone on them. Portland, they got lazy and they were just settling for threes. And when they do that, they're not going to win. And LeBron has somebody where I'm tired, I'm 40. He has somebody who can say, you go do it for the first time in quite some time who can create. AD is amazing, but he's not necessarily a creator.
Does JJ Redick need an apology in February? Does he really? Ken in California, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Ken?
What's up, Ken?
Rob, I usually got your back, but today you're losing like gravy on Stanford and Son. When Calvin told you the Lakers went 14-4, what did you want them to go? 18-0, 17-1. Calvin's on par today. You just better listen to him and stop being in 1987. You always doubting the Lakers and LeBron, and I'm out.
All right, Ken in California.
Man, mark that down, Rob G. On this day in Black History Month, Ken finally said something about Kelvin he agreed with. Mark that down.
I know. He's always usually ripping you. I feel slighted today.
Look at that.
Maybe it's
on
the glasses.
This here day, Mary, write that down for me.
Drew in New Jersey, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Drew?
Drew.
So I don't think that we owe him an apology because I think it's an opinion. Opinions, they elevate, they evolve. So, but I do think that he has been an offensive genius. And from a play caller perspective, their offense looks different, and you can tell scheme-wise, schematically, he's been definitely.
So it's been different from when? Different from the Charlotte and Portland game last week to this one?
Would you stop with two games?
I'm asking him. I'm dead serious.
Luka
that was
Doncic
last week.
Not going to have, but Luka Doncic is also not going to average 14 points.
I appreciate you, Ken.
Drew.
Was that Drew? My bad, Drew.
That was Drew.
I think I'm still stuck
All
with Ken.
Right, Casey in Oregon. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Casey?
Hey, Rob.
Rob. Hey, Calvin.
What's
going
up,
on,
Casey?
guys?
How are you?
I'm good, man. Love the show. You guys always make me laugh.
Thank you, my man. I appreciate that.
Hey, no, we don't owe JJ Redick an apology. It was a regular season game. Granted, nice win in Denver, but I predict this team will be out in the first round, and I really hope they move off LeBron James in the summer and start building around Luka. I don't see this team getting out of the first round. No way, no how, my guys.
See,
Yeah,
that's where I'm
appreciate
at.
Casey.
Like, I don't think we'll have that same JJ apology if it's a first-round exit like last year, which it could be depending on how the teams line up.
That's the big thing.
Because they could play Denver, right, again, who usually has their number, or some team that is just, better.
Seeding is going to be key, as it always is for most teams.
Yeah, it is.
Because everybody has that team. You're like, on paper, we absolutely are better than them. But you're not better than the other team who, maybe have a lower rating, but they just have your number. And it's a weird thing about sports. There's just certain teams that have your number. Denver has had the Lakers for the last few seasons. So that's just one of those teams. If we're going to draw them, you want to draw them later. Hopefully they're worn out or they've gone through it or you start to find a better rhythm before you see them. But, yeah, there are certain teams that just have that thing that you can't overcome.